Welcome to the Immigrant-in-Law channel. Many people think that the faster they can secure their immigration status, the better. But when it comes to immigration matters, speed doesn't always guarantee a good result. Sometimes acceleration really helps you avoid missing an important opportunity. And sometimes rushing leads to mistakes, unnecessary expenses, delays, or even a refusal. Today, we'll discuss when it's worth speeding up the process of obtaining status and when it's better to wait and first strengthen your position. Legal status means peace of mind, legal security, and the ability to work, study, make plans, travel, and feel more confident. That's why the desire to obtain it as quickly as possible is completely understandable. But it's important to remember, in immigration, it's not just speed that matters, but also the quality of your preparation. Submitting your documents quickly doesn't always mean submitting them correctly. Every situation is unique. This video is not legal advice, but a general guide to help you understand when accelerating the process might be justified and when it's better to take a step back. When people say accelerate the status application process, they often mean different things. This could include submitting documents more quickly, choosing a more suitable and efficient route, requesting priority consideration if available, having a pre-prepared set of documents, following the correct procedure without unnecessary delays. Sometimes acceleration is not a separate procedure, but rather thorough preparation. When a person understands the deadlines in advance, gathers evidence, checks documents, and doesn't waste months correcting mistakes. There are situations where waiting is really risky. The first is when your current status or authorized period of stay is about to expire. As the deadline approaches, delaying action can create additional complications. The closer the deadline gets, the less time you have to prepare, correct mistakes, and gather missing documents. Even if the process seems straightforward, delays can occur. A certificate isn't ready, a translation takes longer than expected, an employer doesn't issue a letter right away, or a bank delays sending a statement. Therefore, if the deadline is approaching, it's best not to wait until the last minute. Another situation where acceleration may be important is when your right to work depends on your immigration status. For many people, this is a critical issue. Legal employment affects income, housing, insurance, financial stability, and future immigration plans. If a delay could lead to job loss or the inability to accept an offer from an employer, it's worth exploring options for accelerating the process. But it's important to understand, simply wanting to start working sooner may not be enough. You need to determine whether there are valid grounds for accelerated processing and whether the documents confirming your situation are ready. Acceleration may also be justified in cases of serious family circumstances. For example, this could include family reunification, prolonged separation, the birth of a child, the need to care for a loved one, or medical circumstances. In such situations, time can truly be of the essence. But even here, it's important not to act solely on emotion. Family circumstances must be supported by documentation. If you submit a weak application simply because you really need it faster, you may receive a request for additional evidence, a delay, or a denial. Sometimes it's worth accelerating the process simply because you're already ready. If you have a clear basis for your case, have gathered the key documents, have the translations done, have verified the facts, and your story is logical and consistent, there's often no point in delaying. But it's important to remember, a strong application package isn't just about having a lot of documents. A strong application package consists of documents that answer the immigration officer's questions. They must be up to date, logical, consistent, and interconnected. Sometimes 10 well-prepared documents work better than 100 random files. Another situation where acceleration may be reasonable is when rules are likely to change. The immigration system is constantly changing. Requirements, processing times, fees, quotas, forms, and approaches to specific categories. If you meet the requirements now, but conditions may become more stringent in the future, waiting could be risky. But it's important not to make decisions based on rumors. You should rely on official information and professional assessment. not on messages in chat rooms or stories from acquaintances. Now let's talk about situations where it's better not to rush. The first and most common one is when key documents are missing. Many people think, I'll submit it now and send the rest later. Sometimes this is possible, but it's far from always safe. If a document confirming your eligibility for the status is missing, rushing the application can lead to a denial, the loss of fees, and complications in the future process. For example, if you need to prove cohabitation, financial stability, employment, enrollment in school, family ties, or a specific period of residence, but you don't yet have enough supporting evidence, it's better to strengthen your application first. It's also worth waiting if there are inconsistencies in your history. These could include differing dates on forms, discrepancies between questionnaires and documents, unclear periods of residence, employment, or study, or errors in previous applications. Immigration authorities pay close attention to consistency. Even a minor discrepancy can raise questions. And if someone rushes and doesn't review their entire history, they may inadvertently make the problem worse. Before submitting your application, it's important to review what you've previously stated, what documents you've submitted, and what dates appear in your history. Another reason not to rush is if you don't fully understand the consequences of the path you've chosen. In immigration, one step can affect the next. A quick option may seem convenient now, but it could limit your options in the future. For example, it could affect your right to work, travel, change employers, apply for a different status, or sponsor family members. The quick route isn't always the most reliable. Sometimes it's better to lay a more solid foundation and choose an option that will offer more opportunities in the future. Don't rush into a decision just because you're afraid. You might hear things like, everyone needs to apply right away, it'll be too late later, or everything will change tomorrow, and start acting without thinking it through. As a result, you might choose the wrong path, submit a weak application, or waste money on things you don't need. Urgency and panic are not the same thing. Urgency is based on facts, a time frame, a deadline, work, family, documents. Panic is based on uncertainty. Sometimes waiting isn't a waste of time, but a way to strengthen your case. For example, an employment contract may soon be signed, new financial documents may become available, a training program may conclude, a child may be born, a decision on another matter may be received, or important proof of your relationship, residence, income, or qualifications may become available. If this change truly improves your chances, it's sometimes wiser to wait. But waiting must be managed. You need to understand exactly what you are waiting for, when it will be ready, and how it will affect your application. The main principle is this: you should accelerate well-prepared actions, not ill-considered decisions. If the basis is solid, the documents are in order, the deadlines are critical, and the risks are clear, acceleration may be the right decision. If the basis is weak, the documents are incomplete, the background needs to be verified, and the decision was made on an emotional basis, it's better not to rush. There's no need to rush chaos. You need to rush the preparation. Before deciding whether to move forward or wait, ask yourself 5 questions. First, what is my current status and when does it expire? Second, what basis do I want to use for the new status? Third, do I have all the necessary documents? Fourth, are there any issues in my history that might raise questions? Fifth, what will I lose if I apply now, and what will I lose if I wait? These questions help you view the situation more calmly and make a decision based on understanding rather than fear. One of the most common mistakes is starting the application process too late. People wait until the deadline is almost up, then try to get everything together in a few days, get nervous, make mistakes, and end up with a delay. The best way to speed up the process is to start preparing in advance. Once the documents have been reviewed, the deadlines are clear, the evidence has been gathered, and the path has been chosen with care, the process becomes much less stressful. The immigration process isn't just about filling out forms. It's about strategy, evidence, timelines, and consequences. Sometimes it's best to move quickly. Sometimes it's best to take a step back. The key is to understand why you're making that particular decision. If you are planning to relocate to Europe and want to understand which country and which legalization route is right for you, submit a request for a free consultation with Immigrantinlaw's lawyers. We'll develop the optimal relocation strategy for you, prepare all the necessary documents, explain the nuances of the law in detail, and answer all your questions. We'll analyze your case, your goals, and your situation without using templates. Want to learn more or start the process today? Contact us. All contact details are listed in the description below this video. We're here to help you take a confident step toward a new life. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ask your questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Discover a world of opportunities with Immigrant in Law.